All right, guys, we are back live every Monday for another live episode of Muscle Discord. And you know the time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. You never know what you're going to get on the live show. And we got a very, very special guest joining us. This is the third time now on the show. In my opinion, the GOAT, the greatest of all time,
Thank you.
MC in the IFBB Pro League, Lonnie Taper, man, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right. And we
I'm a
also
little
have,
under the weather. I want to let you guys know I got hit with COVID last night.
Yeah.
So if I'm sneezing and coughing and spitting, just bear with me.
well, we appreciate you even coming on when you're feeling like this, Lonnie. But there's some important things to talk about, and we also have Abbas Katami, man. Welcome back. You were on Friday there as well, so welcome back. And we got Mr. Manuel Romero, man, brother. How are you?
Thank you, brother. I'm doing good. Thanks, God.
Awesome,
Healthy. That's the most
good.
important part.
It's good to see you. Manuel was one of the first interviews I did on the Muscle Discord podcast, so he's been around. He's been
Good bodybuilder.
very, very good bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And we have, as usual, the Jamaican tank, Phil Clayarm. Welcome back, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, I wanted to bring on Lonnie because, as many people may not know, okay, Lonnie has emceed the Arnold Classic 25 times. He's emceed the Mr. Olympia 5 times. Am I right?
Yes, about 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times. Emceeing the Mist.
The women 2 or 3 times. The men, I think, 3
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. So, who better to have on than Lonnie Taper when we're talking about emceeing and being professional and talking, positively about the athletes. So I just wanted to get Lonnie's take on this. There's been a lot of talk about, again, Bob Ciccarello. We're not going to, get too harsh into that, but just let Lonnie talk, take the floor, and give us his thoughts on this whole kind of situation that's been going on. So, Lonnie, the floor is yours.
Well, Bob just got that personality. He's always jabbing. Ever since years ago, we were on a show together. We were both guests. We were debating something. I don't remember what it was. And I think the host said, well, what about Lonnie in his prime? And Bob said, Lonnie never had a prime. That's just a typical statement like that. And I know he's trying to be funny, but sometimes when you're funny, you hurt people's feelings. And I try not to do that. Maybe I wasn't successful all the time. And I tried to build everybody up. I gave everybody as many nicknames as I could to try to add spice to the show. And
yeah, you did it.
But like everybody's different. And I don't know. I didn't see the contest that you're talking about where Phil was in. And I just heard that I guess you had a big lead after the prejudging and came back in the finals and lost the finals.
Yeah.
And it was I don't know how big the lead was. Now I will say this: over the years, Steve Weinberger has been the head judge of probably over 100 plus contests that I emceed, and there were times that he did bring people back at the evening show and replaced them. So it has happened before. I'm not saying that was the right thing to do here because I didn't see the contest. I have no idea. I don't think Phil thought it was the right thing. And, I don't know. It's just when you get in a subjective thing and what are you going to do? They're going to say, it's my opinion.
Yeah. We need to kind of go. We've kind of gone as much as I think we can through that Masters Olympia placings and everything. And, we've really made our point clear on what we think. And, that's kind of here nor there. Everyone knows how we feel about that. But, and Lon, again, he didn't really see anything with regards to that show. So we won't really kind of dive into that. But the main thing, too, is, just like, for example, we'll give some examples. Like when Bob said to, Nick Walker, I'm going to announce you 8th place at the Mr. Olympia and that you would never, turn pro during my time. Like, what is your thoughts when you hear an MC of the Mr. Olympia say that?
I personally feel that you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Bob and Sean feel they can because it's a podcast and it's separated from the Olympia. So we have a difference of feelings on that. When I was the MC of the Arnold for 25 years and I was called the voice of the Arnold Classic, I felt part of that show. and I felt an obligation to that show, to be the best I could be. And I'm not saying I never cracked a joke here or there. I'm
but
sure I
Lonnie,
did.
what you did differently though is you had the Swami's ball. You never talked bad about the athletes. You just had your Swami's predictions. That was it. You never went negative. So, just this is the prime example. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to say this because I was a subject of many of your shows as your introduction. People wanted to be introduced by you. Okay, you had a great introduction for almost every athlete. You gave tons of athletes their reputation, their names, their nicknames, but you never just imagine like you're Nick Walker and you're walking out on stage and you're hearing this guy's voice who just 6 months prior said is gloating, saying he can't wait to see you get 8th place. And you have to see this guy out of the corner of your eyes while you're on the grand stage of the Mr. Olympia, the Super Bowl of bodybuilding. He's blurring the lines. You never blurred the lines, Lonnie.
Yeah, well, I don't know why. Obviously, Bob isn't a big fan of Nick Walker's physique.
Doesn't matter.
And
you shouldn't be negative on the
his
athlete.
viewpoint is it's his opinion. He's not saying that at the podium at the Olympia. He's saying it on his own show. But when you're the voice of the Olympia and the voice of bodybuilding, is there a little bit of crossing over there? I don't know. I mean,
I will say,
if it doesn't bother the promoter, I don't know if it has bothered the promoter or not.
Yeah, but you got to be respectful of the athletes, okay?
yeah,
You're carrying that brand, okay? So
Yeah.
pick. You want to be an MC and be part of that brand and be professional, which already the sport is a cult sport, and you want to talk trash about its own athletes. If you want to do that, go be a podcast, be a podcast host and be a critic, but don't be the two.
I will say, sorry to interrupt you guys, but this is how I receive it as an athlete, as a viewer. As soon as I saw that happen, my reaction was, you're not taking care of what you're saying as the brand, because he's the brand. He's the face of the Mr. Olympia brand because he's the NC. And as I receive it, may athletes think that he has the power to not let somebody win. What it means, some corruption into the organization. And we already hear a lot about these type of things, favoritism, corruption, and stuff like that. I'm a Latin person and I love bodybuilding till death since I first time see that in magazine. So my goal as an athlete, as a dreamer, was to come to this country and do bodybuilding. But I always receive something like, oh, because you're Latino, oh, because of this, because of that. It's never been something like this. I respect the judges, and I always see judges as people who is fans and they want to see the best of you. But they need to be smart and not let their feelings go, because they cannot criticize an athlete individually, because then the athlete, when he's competing on the stage, he will say, and he has the power to say, once he did this in the video, that I didn't place well because he predicted. Bro, even the question about you think this guy could win the Mr. Olympia is a nonsense question, because we all bodybuilders know everything is possible and we all wants to win. We can't deny that another bodybuilder has the same feeling and he's been killing himself on stage. Everything relates to what it could happen at the day we are on the stage, because Phil have a beautiful physique and I saw him win. When I saw him win one of his first show, I was like, fuck, I had the chance because we look similar, right? So but I will never say that, oh, these people take advantage of me or this one takes advantage of me. You know what happened when I get second place behind Cedric McMillan in Sacramento? They told me behind stage, no, we know he was going to win because he couldn't make the qualification for Mr. Olympia. I didn't feel bad at all. I wasn't hate, but at the same time, I'm a fan of Cedric's physique, right? So I was just like, okay, I gotta make it better. But MCs cannot let their feelings, their ego go over it, because then they're gonna destroy the integrity of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what bothered me, again, I didn't see the contest Phil was in. The pictures, he looked great to me. As far as Steve Weinberger, I think the guy's on the up and up. I mean, I've emceed shows for 30 years, and he was a head judge on 200 or 300 of them, and I thought he did a great job. I'm not saying he was perfect, but he did a great job. But what I didn't like when, at the end of the commentary on Phil, I think Bob said, "Get a job. You should get a job, or
retire."
That I thought was a little hurtful. I thought that was going on, but that's Bob. You know, that's his personality, and everybody's different, and a lot of people obviously like him. And I will say this: there's been talk of trying to remove him from the Olympia. I think the guy does a great job as the MC of the Olympia. You got to realize he starts Thursday with the press conference, goes all the way through Sunday with the banquet, and he does all the pre-judging too. I could never do all that stuff.
Yeah, no, like none of us are like, I mean, I've never said like he's a terrible MC or anything like that. I kind of make fun of his suits and stuff like that. But, you know, as doing the job, like that's what I wish Bob would just focus on, is doing his job like other MCs do, like Sid does, like David Bay does. But Bob does his job, and then he throws in these insults and these, you know, mean-spirited comments towards the athletes. And I'm like, well, why? You kind of tarnish yourself. And you look unprofessional when you do that. But Bob and Sean Ray, they seem to just be absolutely fine with slinging insults, telling guys you need to retire, you should get a new job, do something different. It's just kind of trashing down the sport. When you had someone like, you know, Lonnie Taper, who was there, so professional, people wanted to be called out by him on the stage, and they just loved that kind of camaraderie that they had with the MC.
You know,
and
it's
that.
funny that you mentioned Sean, and I had breakfast with Sean Saturday morning. People won't believe this. He picked up the tab.
Oh, wow.
Shocking.
Wow.
He asked me if I remember a guy named Alejandro Comedina, who was from Italy, who's working out at this gym in Monrovia now. And I said, sure, I knew him real well. And what Comedina told me when he came over from Italy, his biggest goal in bodybuilding was to have Lonnie Teeper introduce him. I think, wow, I hope I did a good job, because that's a hell of a lot of pressure, you know. But it was very kind of him to say that. I probably gave him a nickname. I don't remember the nickname. I know we had the Persian Missile over here. Were you the Persian Missile?
That was your nickname. You deemed me.
It's
awesome. Just not just me saying that we all wanted to be, you know, introduced by you. You know, Lonnie, you just gave another example. I'm telling you, everybody, and I'm not just saying this because I know you. I mean, we all wanted to be introduced by you because you gave great introductions. You never, you know, disgraced any of the athletes. You made the sport fun. You made it professional, plain and simple. That's what it's all about. You know, this sport already as it is tarnished in the media. I mean, it has not grown. They keep saying it's growing, but it's not. Maybe not. They're growing because they're adding more classes.
Yeah.
But is the quality getting any better? In the pro division, absolutely, yes. But in the local level and the national level, compared to when, I mean, Phil knows this, 2000s, all the way until about 2014, 15, you know, after that, you know, the conditioning went to shit.
Yeah, another thing that bothered me a little bit, and as an outsider looking in, is Bob saying that the Masters show wasn't anything, or it was in the one in Japan or something.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. No one cares.
It matters to the person killing himself in the gym and dieting and paying thousands of dollars to get there, and his biggest goal is to be on that stage. You know, you can't take that away from somebody. In my feeling, you know, Bob's a different guy, got a different type of personality. I don't know if he meant that seriously. He may have been trying to joke. I don't know, but
he's not joking about that. The fact that
he said it a couple times, but you know, Lonnie, man, you've called me up before. You did articles about me back in 2000, 2009, and I always and will always have the most respect for you because you always conduct yourself as a professional, and you stayed that way.
Thank you.
So it was definitely an honor, you know, back then to hear, you know, call my name out and even, you know, made a small article about how great I was as an amateur at that time.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, listen, I have a job, so obviously Bob don't do his
well, he
research.
said he retired too. I think he
Yeah,
said.
I have a job and I make very good money and I run my own personal business. But anybody can tell someone they need to retire just because of whatever apparent reason. I mean, I'm going to continue to go on, but at the end of the day, my main thing is I just respect how you have always carried yourself, even till today. You know what I mean? With respect, with dignity. You know what I mean? So that's what I guess we would respect. If anyone else, especially you being a legend, he can say whatever he wants. But you in your prime and still doing what you do today, you know what I mean? We need that. We need that in bodybuilding on all aspects, amateur and professional.
Well, I think it's an easy fix.
Absolutely.
If Jake Wood doesn't like some of the things being said, he can always bring him in and have a talk and tell him I don't want this anymore. And
Well, that reminds me.
that's what he did with Sean, I believe.
Well, let's
he
just take
did.
a look.
Yeah.
Let's take a look down memory lane here, and I'll just let this play. Hopefully, the sound comes through, guys. Let me know.
I heard what they were saying, and we'll take that criticism, and we need to make sure that everything is positive there. Okay, I need that from you going forward.
Yeah, and I'm not above criticism.
Because I stick by my guys. I'm sticking by you, and I'm a loyal person. Yeah, but I'm also loyal to the athletes. Because those guys are coming to our show. They're supporting our show. They're the reason why we're there. They're standing on the stage. They're giving somebody something to look at. So obviously we have to support those guys.
And I'm aware.
When there's a little problem, I get it. That happens. Yeah, but hey, we're all here to support the sport, and this year's been a hell of a tough year.
So hopefully you guys heard that. So that was one thing, Lonnie. Like, I wonder why they kind of reprimanded Sean Ray when Sean Ray was kind of speaking out about the athletes, but they're not doing it to Bob.
Yeah, they took him off the comment. Actually, I think he was really good on the commentary for the most parts. Some people didn't like everything he said, but I thought he added a lot from his experience. And then he was called in, as you saw by that video, and said, I don't want anything negative. I want everything positive. Now, to me, when Bob is saying this is my podcast, that's true. And he could say whatever he wants to do. That's true. I think the question is, as the voice of the Olympia or the voice of bodybuilding, do you have a little more responsibility when it comes to the athletes, particularly coming up in that contest? And somebody who's won 2 or 3 shows, I think he won the Arnold once or twice, won the New York Pro, and he's been 3rd, I think, in the Olympia. And to tell him you're going to be 8th. Now, he may have been joking for all I know. Bob jokes a lot. And I don't know why he knows the sport a lot better than to say he's going to be 8th. I'll bet anybody that he's higher than 8th. If anybody wants to put some money down.
Yeah, he's going to be definitely in the top 6. It's
I
going to
think
be
he'll be the top 3.
Yeah.
The guy's got so much muscle, it's ridiculous. If he comes in his best shape, that's.
Lonnie, why don't you just put your name into the hat for being the MC of the Olympia? Come on, man. At least the main show. Forget about, prejudging and whatnot. Just introduce the athletes coming on stage. You're the best.
Well, I thank you very much. I'm flattered by that. But, Bob's their guy. He's been there for about 20 years.
So
like I said, I think overall, he does a great job. And I don't think it's that easy to MC that show, particularly with all the stuff that he does. I know I used to do the Arnold and the Arnold Amateur. And the Arnold Amateur had about 500 competitors. And what happened was I was having some voice problems and doing that much. So by the time I got to the Arnold Classic Finals, my voice was being affected. So I told Bob Lorimer I didn't want to do the amateurs anymore because it was affecting my voice.
I think just for the main show, they should bring you in. It'd be great.
Well, I appreciate that's quite a compliment. And
there's no reason why not to have a couple different MCs. You remember they had Triple H at one point?
Well, we had MCs at the Arnold.
Now, Triple H was fun, right?
Yeah, me and Clint Richards at the Arnold.
So,
Lonnie, if you could give Bob some advice as the best, like in my opinion, you're the best MC that's walked the face of the earth for bodybuilding. What would you give him in a positive direction to set him off here?
Well, what I tell him, it probably wouldn't mean much. I would just say, you do a great job and everything else. Try not to be quite as caustic in some of your comments.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to tell a guy to retire, get a job. That's pretty personal. I mean, the guy that I'm telling to get a job, he's walking off the stage. I don't know what his personal life is. Maybe he can't get a job. Maybe he's been trying to get a job for a year and he has no money and he's killing himself to be on this bodybuilding stage. You got to respect everybody that's up there. Not everybody's as good as Dorian Yates and Lee Haney and Phil Heath and even Sean and all. Not everybody's going to be at that level, but everybody's still important. Absolutely. Each person is they give up an awful lot to become a bodybuilder in the first place. I think I was a mainstream sports writer for many years, and I was on a show one time and got in a major debate. We were talking about what's the toughest sport in the world to compete in. Some people were saying baseball, basketball, gymnastics. I said bodybuilding. I said, because bodybuilding, you have no life. 8 to 10 weeks before the show, you can't eat anything. You can't go out. You can't do anything. You have to leave a Spartan life, and you're dying to eat some. When you get up in the middle of the night, you want to eat the whole refrigerator, and you just can't do it. And also to have to peak at that show. That's not easy either. I believe when you said Cedric won in Sacramento, didn't I MC that show?
Yeah.
I think I MC'd that show.
2015, I think it was.
That was my first show I MC'd up north. Yeah, and Cedric won and you were second.
Yeah, so I will tell you something. Based on you are a lot analytics on sports, I hear a lot of these things, and I will say, we all know that the human individual is capable to adapt to the environment, right? So the demand will create the awareness and the individual to develop their skills to adapt to the situation, to the sport discipline, to everything. That's what bodybuilding teach us. So when I hear and sport analytics saying, like, I will give you an example. Like, for example, LeBron James will never adapt to the game in the 90s because he's weak of this or that. And I say, really, if you know sports, you know that he will adapt because it's something natural in the humans. We adapt to the level of the demand. So when people say, no, Arnold is not going to do anything on these times, if Arnold have all the resources and he applied the sickness that he used to apply back in time, and this day he will be fucking stoppable. And anyone can do this. So when we hear athletes retire from the 90s, from the 80s, talking shit about the athletes from today's, I will tell you something, guys. It's their own stupidity because the things the athletes are doing today, all those athletes trying to make PRs based on Ronnie Coleman narrative are killing themselves. Some are scared and say like, oh no, I don't want to end up like a Ronnie Coleman, stuff like this. Everyone has their own purpose. Everyone has their own challenge and battles in their head. No one has the right to criticize other athletes because we all know how crazy it is to get in shape, how to become to be a really professional, good level bodybuilder. So no one has the right to criticize because we all know that we go through many crazy state of minds trying to be the best. We also choose, I'm gonna die trying. But no one comes and say, hey bro, you're not supposed to do that much. We already did it. When we slow down, when we stop, we realize that we're not supposed to do that much. So no one is because their ego, because their frustration, because I know Bossy Cirillo doing shit. He's a good MC, I would say, but as an athlete, he wasn't that good. So he cannot compare with Phil. He cannot compare with any of the champions today. He cannot compare with Nick Walker. So Sean Wright.
what's gonna
Sean
be
Wright. When
one-
I hear Sean Wright talking in some of his video, I still hearing the Sean Wright. He's still pissed because he never won the fucking Mr. Olympia.
Well, Bob won a pro show, but ironically, it was a master show.
It was the pro world that was
real
done.
quick,
Was
here's
that
the,
the
here's the
pro
main
world?
thing,
Was it a
Lonnie.
master?
Here's the main thing. I went pro at 43 years old in the Open in Canada in a very, very stiff lineup, and you had to win the overall to even get your pro card. We're talking at 43 years old. So, I get upset, especially when, Bob or Sean or anybody of the past, because they're all around my age, if not a little bit older, right? So at the end of the day, you'll tell yourself, like, you should be, respecting and showing love to this individual at his place and time doing what he's doing. Bob competed and he looked good back then. I think the level of competition right now, with just the overall size and craziness in the sport, for me to be competitive with these young men that's old enough to be my kids, it's just a level of respect you should give. You know what I'm saying? Bob he's a cool dude. He was a cool dude. You know what I mean? I don't know what transpired within the 2 years. I kind of do, but I'm not going to go into it. But it's like, hey, man, give Phil, the respect that, hey, he's getting on stage at this age and he's very competitive. And I believe, and I truly believe, I brought my best ever to this Master Olympia, regardless of what happened. You know what I mean? Show respect on it. Don't say who cares and nobody watched and nobody really cares about these old guys getting cut and in shape. The hard work we put in is just the same hard work that the Open competitors put in. And honestly, I'm a recent Open competitor. I just decided to do the Masters. So it just hurts on a level to the point where they should be given the respect to all of us, not just me. All of the older bodybuilders are showing that longevity is key in the sport. I think that should be pushed more than anything, to let everybody know that if you do it right and do it safe, you have a long, a time in this sport and stay healthy. So that's
what everybody wants,
right?
Yeah.
Didn't he criticize, and when he went on, didn't he criticize Walker's physique? His shape?
He also criticized Regan
Grimes.
So he shouldn't even go to the Olympia.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's the MC of the Mr. Olympia saying you shouldn't come and compete at the Mr. Olympia.
That's
Regan.
bad because
come on, Bob.
Making
the show.
Here's a question for everybody. Abbas talked about when I did my Swami picks. I did my crystal ball and I picked who was going to win. Sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong. I do it for entertainment sometimes. And one time, Flex Wheeler was irate with me because I didn't pick him. He forgot I picked him the year before. But I picked him, and he says, "You just don't know the power that you have." Oh. I said, "As the MC or as yes, you got tremendous power. When people see that Lonnie Teeper picks so and so to win, that gives them an edge." So I think if that's true, and I don't think it is true, but if it was, I think people feel when Bob makes a remark about somebody, he's got a lot of influence. Right or wrong, yep. and it could affect something. I'm not saying it does. I'm just saying I'm not saying it did. But I think that a lot of people, from what I've seen, I think a lot of athletes think it does play a role.
Yeah, and a lot of people who watch the video, who watch the shows, they will be disappointed of just thinking that it's something that is encrypted, like baseball, like football, like boxing. The boxing is just coming down because of that. People think like, oh, there is no make sense on watching this because it's always the same corruption and stuff. And I don't like that. Look, I'm so in love with bodybuilding because it gives me everything in my life. I started when I was 16 and I see the sport and I feel like we should do a little better. Even when we see the many, like you said, Phil, the oversize is also giving people not that kind of look. When I hear what is the difference or why these athletes in the 90s are better than and look better than is the lights, is the cameras. And I say we are living in the most informative era but people are doing way too much. Everybody, all athletes are relating too much on sugar-free things and trying to enjoy better the diet when it's very simple. Just food and water and make it happen, because your skin will show the real condition in the real work. Most of the athletes are not spending time posing, and that's a big difference. They go on the stage that they don't really present then aesthetic. Bodybuilding is not just size because it's not functional. They move around and they don't look great. They don't look good. They don't look beautiful. Being tailor man in their presentation, it was amazing to see him attractive, just to see him standing, because their skin, that's maturity, and that is something that not happen in the 25 and the 23, because there is no maturity, there is no work done in the structure and the muscle. And this is something different that we need to talk about it. We need to make points, because that's what's going to make the sport better. Not criticizing athletes their life, because we all have problems. We're humans, we have emotion, and with the whole bullshit of pharmaceutical things that we need to interact with, not much people say that they also will affect our character, our behaviors, and stuff
And
like
your
this. We
bank,
Well,
all know.
your bank account.
did Bob get upset when like you made a prediction or said something like that he wouldn't place in the top 6 because
Yeah,
of his
that was a
genetic?
long time ago. I just wrote one line. I was doing my Olympia predictions, and I wrote a one-line sentence. I said Bob and King Kamali won't make the top 6 because they don't have the genetics to do something like that effect.
Well, that wasn't that bad.
And that's not, and he wasn't MC though. You were the
I
MC
wasn't
at the
the
time.
MC. That was my prediction, and I was right. They didn't make the top 10, but
He said I was right.
they were upset with me. I mean, I could understand that. And
See, Bob, see how it feels?
I was right. You know.
Yeah, you're right. But like Bob took it, personal, right? Because you are someone prominent and you weren't the MC at the time, but you were still just making that assessment. And Bob didn't like it. He got a little hissy.
Molly were very close, and
They're real.
I'm going by what I saw and what places they placed in previous shows in the Olympia lineup, and I looked at certain characteristics of them as bodybuilders, and I didn't think they had the goods to make the top 6. That doesn't mean I didn't think they were any good. You could be 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th and be great at the Olympia, but I just said top 6.
Yeah, you're just making a prediction.
So I guess I can fall in that same category. If you want to call that being critical, I guess you can. I don't know.
Yeah, you can make a prediction, but again, you weren't the MC at the time, so it's full context. Lonnie was not the MC of the Mr. Olympia when he made that statement, and you're just making a prediction. You're not saying, "Well, I'm going to announce Bob as 7th place at the Olympia." You're not doing it the way Bob does it, right? So even the way you did it was the kind of a more professional way to do it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of.
Yeah, I've had my back and forth with some of the bodybuilders through the years, where they were really upset with me, and I could have done that to them. Craig Titus for one, Kamali for another one. We went at each other, and I could have said, "Well, boy, when I'm at the Ironman, I can't wait to give you that 5th place trophy." I would never say something like that. Bob had to be kidding. Wasn't he kidding when he said that?
No, Bob don't kid when he talks.
He was not kidding when he
said that. No. Lonnie, I doubled down and I asked, I said, "Hey, are you going to apologize for what Nick said or for what you said about Nick and saying wouldn't turn pro during your era and all this stuff?" He's like, no, I stand by, he just stands by his word. He's doubles down on it. And so we're like, okay, we gave you an opening there, Bob, to kind of make some peace here, and didn't seem to care at all.
Maybe he did it kind of trying to be funny or something.
No. At the end of the day, listen, we have to do it. Even when we on this channel, and I still try to be 100% as professional as possible with my personal predictions, because I competed with all these guys. So I try to sometimes take my personal emotion out of it, but still be respectful regardless. That's just me, not just as a person, also as an athlete. And once again, being on these stages with these individuals, I know the work they put in. So, but I'm still respectful with it. So at the end of the day, all we're saying, Bob does a great job. As much as I don't care for the guy with everything, he's done by mouth and try to discredit me. I will always say he does do a good job when it comes to MC.
Well, that Olympia thing is a phenomenal.
Right. And I mean, even when he called me out when I won in Orlando, when he always called me out as Jamaican Tank, he's always did a great job. You know what I mean? So
that's what he's saying, that at the podium, he's always very professional like that. But when he's got his own show, he's entitled to his own opinion. I think the difference is a lot of people think because of his involvement is so deep in the Olympia, the face of the Olympia, like I was the face of the Arnold Classic. I felt an obligation. I wasn't going to do that to any of the competitors.
Yeah, but Lonnie, you're right. Even though he has a podcast, it doesn't let you just speak bluntly and roughly and disrespectful. I don't think having your own podcast should allow that demeanor, especially with the standards he stand behind, which is the IFBB Pro League and the Mr. Olympia brand, right? Now, if he wasn't part of that and he had his podcast and he's acting like a fool or whatever, that's different. But the big thing that everybody is saying is he is part of the brand. And regardless if you have your own podcast, you have to speak with respect towards all the athletes. You crack your jokes.
Jake Wood, he's on Jake Wood's staff as the Olympia MC, but doesn't that carry over to these other podcasts during the year? I mean, I think it all goes together.
We all know that these words that you said, Phil, there are in a contract. As an athlete, when we sign a contract, if we get into fights, if we get into stupid acting publicly, we know we're going to end the contract with the supplement company.
Right.
And that is something that he might not taking care of. He can have his own podcast and he can have his own rights, but he at least has to say, hey guys, this is my podcast. All my opinion here doesn't have anything to look at. I'm a human. So he can make the statement and then he can say anything he wants.
Jake Wood may not like that though, based on what he did with Sean.
He didn't like it. He didn't.
That video before till Matthew put it up, and he said he doesn't want anything negative. Like when I was sports information director at Cal State LA, they said I don't want anything. I want only the positive to be emphasized and downplay the negative. That's what usually people that are hiring you want you to do. I mean, think about it.
It's common sense. Yeah.
You can't be the hype man and the heckler at the same time.
Exactly.
Okay. They're good.
I think there's where the question is. Bob and Sean think that podcast is separate, whereas most other people think if you're going to be called the voice of bodybuilding, the voice of the Olympia, the face of the Olympia, there kind of comes some type of obligation with that, I think.
Yeah. No, you're right. But yeah, look at this. Let's say a police officer. That's a man of the law, state police, or whatever the case may be. Okay, well known in the community, gets his podcast, and goes completely ballistic and craziness about how, if somebody broke in his house, he's going to shoot him in the head and go. The whole world would come after him. No, bro, not because you have a podcast, because you're a staple. People look up to you as a police officer, a respectable authority. You can't just do your own thing on social media where the world is watching, the bodybuilding world, and think that's okay. And I mean, I could keep going on with different things within.
Yeah, I can give you an example of that in my teaching. Actually, I've taught for 40 years at the college level, and I'm currently part-time at East Los Angeles.
Be right back, guys. Be right back. Like 2 minutes. Just keep it going here.
If I couldn't go on a podcast and rip the hell out of my department chairperson because she's not giving me enough classes, saying, well, that has nothing to do with the school. This is my own podcast. You can't hold it against me. I'd be gone out the door in an hour. There is kind of a connection between the two. I think they feel that there isn't. So that's the biggest.
That's probably what it is.
But like you said, unless, someone like, Jake Wood, respectfully step up and say, listen, kill the nonsense, man. We have the Olympia we're trying to prepare for, which is a big event. And we just don't need this negativity. I mean, Jake puts up a lot of money. And that's really the thing. Like, if Jake could just, say something, just say something private. You don't have to be videotaped or recorded. But I just think that somebody.
That's what I didn't understand.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I never met the man, so But I just saw that video, and I said, "Wow, he's adamant about what he feels." Talking to Sean.
What year was that? You know,
Probably
I gotta ask
3 or 4 years
man.
ago.
About 4 years.
3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, I met Jake. Jake is he's a great guy. He hates really public speaking. You know what I mean? But he's a down to earth guy. He's
maybe
just more
he has talked with Bob. Maybe we don't even know that.
Probably. I mean,
but it's his show. It's his money. And if he says, "I don't care what Bob says on his podcast, denigrating our athletes, and it's all right with me," there's nothing that can be said.
There's nothing wrong with apologizing, and they need to make the sport very professional if anybody wants to take it seriously. And that's the thing; it's nothing is professional about it.
I think maybe at the end of the day, in Jake Wood's position here, he's got to think, okay, who can replace Bob? Like, this is not an easy job. Okay, it's a Super Bowl of bodybuilding. We need a good host for the show. You know, who can replace Bob? Okay, and I think if someone came up that could do the job, I think they would phase Bob out. But I just don't think they feel confident in any of their other MCs out there right now to do the job that Bob can do. Right. And again, Bob's been around. He's made a lot of connections. He's friends with a lot of these guys. So they'll give Bob more of a pass, right? Than say they would.
Doing everything he does too, including the prejudging, including the banquets.
It's a tough job, but it shouldn't give you the pass to make fun of athletes and to disrespect athletes and whatnot. So it's just like it's tough. It's like they're stuck with him almost, and they can't. Like,
and then you gotta look at it, man. He's going to be on that Olympia stage. Nick Walker's going to be there. Regan Grimes going to be there. There's certain athletes is going to give him a look. And here's the thing, like on the whole realm of things, you got to be careful because a lot of these guys are juiced up on a lot of stuff. And let's just say, let's throw it out, even though I know it won't happen. Let's say Nick Walker plays 8th. You really think there's not going to be an issue with him and Bob at that show? You get what I'm saying? That's the risk. That's what I'm saying. We got to be very careful. Like, we're hyped up on stuff, and then we're on that stage, and we hear his mouth. Then we replay things he said about it. It's just a dangerous situation to play with.
Plus, he doesn't give out the trophies, does he? He said, when I present Nick with his 8th place trophy.
No,
he doesn't. It doesn't even make sense. Like, it's like 8th place. They don't even do that. So it's like, come on, Bob. You don't even know how to play this game. You're not even calling it right.
Looking at this Walker, I know some people are in love with this guy's physique. Other people aren't. He's a huge, thick guy. But looking at what he's done and winning the Arnold, he's won the New York Pro twice. He's been in the Olympia. I think he's 3rd in the Olympia.
That's actually not bad.
I'm not going to, unless he comes way off, there's no way in the world this guy's going to be in 8th place. What do you guys think?
No. It's top 3, top 4. Just depends who shows up and if they're peaked properly. I have Nick in the top 4.
But you know what, too? They actually digged at him again because they're like, oh, well, we should just bring back the bubble guts because, we got Nick Walker and, that was recently said. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I don't know. Me as a competitive athlete on that Olympia stage, at the same time Bob is on that stage, we never know what can explode. You know what I mean? Just saying bring back the bubble guts and automatically calling out Nick Walker.
Well, that's
one
one of the requirements.
Yeah, sure.
If it's a bubble gut, give me my posing trunks. I can get in there. I got a bubble gut. But I mean, there's no way this kid. That's why I'm thinking Bob couldn't have been serious because there's no way in the world this guy, if he's in shape, is going to be anywhere near 8th place.
Bob has been relentless, like with his, the H frame and whatnot. With Nick Walker, he just does not think this guy's ever going to win the Mr.
He's won other contests.
I know,
He's been
Bob.
high in the Olympia.
I know, but that's Bob, man. If he wants to throw stones, he's going to throw it. If he's just in that mood, and he doesn't joke. It's not a joke. He's dead serious. No, it's dead serious.
He's doubled down on it. He doesn't seem to care. So what Nick Walker thinks. So it's Bob's game. Bob's way or the highway, I guess.
Well, like you said, if they allow it, and no one says anything, well, that's tells us the story.
It's unfortunate. No one is reprimanding Bob and saying, "Hey, man, Bob, just kind of chill and speak
Well, that's
positively."
what I'm saying. It's Jake Wood's show. If he wants something done about that, he's going to talk to Bob about it. I don't know.
I hope he does.
Maybe he hasn't. I don't know.
Well,
We're
we
gonna.
know that there is many guys that look really good, very aesthetic, and there are like around 10 guys, including Nick Walker. If all of these guys came and show up in 100% condition, being aesthetic, many of the ones that are not that aesthetic, they're gonna be pushed out. So I like everyone, and the most important thing here for any bodybuilder is that everyone shows up at 100%. Remember when Ronnie Coleman won his first Olympia? The previous year he was out of the 10. He was 14. No one was expecting him to show up to the first place. And he kills everyone. He even thought that himself, "This is gonna be my last show." He
Yeah.
clearly said it.
Yeah.
But everything start over. So we cannot, it's impossible to make a prediction because we all know that there is many guys that if they
Oh, I did it
nail
just in fun. I was doing it just to add some fun and entertainment to the
yeah,
show and have some interest to get people interested in
yeah,
it. And that's why I came up with the nicknames. I don't think I gave you a nickname. I think I only saw MC'd you one
We
time.
need to give Manuel a nickname. We'll give him one.
I'll work on that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, I really love how do you all the Olympias that I saw where you were presenting the athletes. I mean, as you said, my man, it's kind of like a dream come true through the athletes to be presented to the one to hear that voice calling your name. That's what we really want. Many of us have that in our heart, competing because it's what I mean. One of my dreams was, oh, I would like to meet Joe Wader. But I have to get to the Olympic stage to be able to check his hand. But I lost that chance because he died then. But at least I did it to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that was one of my dreams. And then I realized it wasn't win a show what I wanted. I was always get into these people who inspired me as a kid because thanks to them, I become to understand life itself because bodybuilding teach us that you put something in your head, you build it through action, and then you become to be your own teacher, your own superhero. We all have that, but no one's playing us this way. So bodybuilding is the best school someone can have to build their own character, to build their own discipline.
Since Cole Medina said his biggest thrill in bodybuilding is having me introduce him at the podium, he's now my pick to win the Mr. Olympia. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but you gotta look at it. I got to give Jay Cutler some props. I mean, when I met Jay Cutler, man, I started competing in 1999, so I think it was like 2000 or 2001. I met Jay Cutler, Nasser Somebody, Ronnie Coleman, Gunther Shurkamp. But when I met Jay Cutler in his prime, when he was up and coming, he was young, and he saw me step off the stage, and we're talking, and I was like 100% all natural at a young age. I didn't touch anything until I was like in my late 30s, and he said, "Man, you think about bodybuilding?" I said, "Nah, man, I'm just doing this for fun. My best friend decided to compete, and he got a coach, so I just copied off of his stuff, and I just jumped in the show." And he said, with his little voice, "You got good genetics. You want to think about going pro?" I said, "No." He said, "I'm trying to tell you, you have what it takes to go pro." And I told him that 3 years ago when he was in Romania. And he's like, "Wasn't that right?" What I mean? I said, "Yeah." But it's like these guys were so positive in my life as a young man growing up. Like if I would have had any negativity from someone that stood high that I respected, I would have never gotten to bodybuilding. But because I met these individuals that encouraged me, that knew I was built for greatness, and just talking to them, it just made me like, wow, man, bodybuilding is freaking great. I'm going to really put everything I got into it and then do what I need to do, So that's why, like, you got to look at the young up-and-comers in this sport. They watch social media. So if they start seeing somebody that's respectful, talking down on athletes, it's going to make them think, well, shit, I don't want to get into this sport if this is how they talk about, their athletes that they're supposed to, love and respect. And the athletes is who's making the IFB be who they are. Without the athletes, there's no sport. You get what I'm saying? So that's the only thing. just the love and respect I got from those guys, the old school guys that made me do this, and that's where I'm at today. That's the respect and love that I cherish and carry till this day.
Well said, well said, and that's a big point there. It's like, we want to show a standard for the Olympia, and Bob, yes, he does a good job as the MC when he's on the stage, but when he's off the stage, he doesn't really represent the brand in a positive way. And we would all like to see that change. If we can't get rid of Bob, then let's at least hopefully Jake Wood or Dan Solomon reach out to Bob and say, hey man, just kind of clean it up and be respectful to the athletes, because it's not a good look. But anyways, let's while we have Lonnie here, Lonnie, if you're still good, do you want to hang around and you're not feeling too down? I know
coming up.
Yeah, we got a show, so we'll do some Swami predictions.
There we go.
Well, we got the Italy Pro. Okay, we got 24 athletes in this show coming up this weekend. It's crazy. Wow. And we'll go in this quickly because we got people asking what about the predictions. So they want. We've been talking a lot here, so we'll go into that. The stuff that we talk about now, which is well, we'll do a little bit here with you. And so we got Quentin Beastwood. We got Urs Kelsinski. He's doing this. He's moving up from classic physique to open. We have Lewis Breed from the UK. We got Sergio Oliveira Jr. in here.
I haven't seen Sergio in a long time.
Sergio, he's looking good. And then we got Amir. He's doing this. From the names that I can kind of see, Mark Hector. Again, he's doing it. So we got a good lineup here. Any thoughts here? I'm going to swing it to Phil Clayhar. Who do you think is going to be coming out first in this Italy Pro? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Phil?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So who do you got in the first, second, third going in the Italy Pro? So it's a tough one.
You know what I mean? I'm of course I'm going to put Hirsch in there because I just know he'll be in the top. First call out. Of course, my boy Quentin Beastwood. Sergio, definitely Sergio. What's his name? Martin, not Martin. You just say his name again?
Oh, Mark Hector?
Yes, Mark Hector, yeah. I believe is going to be in that top four. And man, Lewis Breed comes in ridiculous conditioning. It's just that a little bit of the structure, the waistline's a little thick, but he's probably going to be one of the most peeled guys in that show. So that's going to be like my top five in no particular order.
Okay. Wow. Abbas, what are you thinking here in your top 3, 4?
I can't say, to be honest, because I don't know a lot of these guys. I just know Urs, but this guy that you're showing here looks beautiful. Great physique.
Yeah, he's good. Mark Hector.
Yeah. I mean, I don't follow a lot of these guys anymore. I've been doing my own thing these past few years, but I still am in a sport, but I don't follow it. There's so many.
Quentin's pretty good. He's done a couple shows where he took second in Tampa. He was battling for second in Texas, but then he ended up falling to third. So he's in this show, obviously looking way, way leaner and more conditioned. The only thing I'm nervous about is if he could just hold on to a little bit more size and not get too depleted, because he's looking pretty dry and shredded.
Right.
Who's that guy right there?
Quentin Beastwood. He's out of Canada.
Boy, he looks awful good to me.
No, he looks good.
Really good. Manuel Romero, what's your thoughts on these guys?
Well, looking into the athletes himself, Quint, I like him. But as we were talking, so when we see athletes like him, I used to be like in love with Paul Dillette physique, and I always question myself. I know because I'm 6'1", and I know when we are super heavy in our off season, we don't move that much, but they need to practice more posing. Posing will bring the really best of this guy, and if he get it, that front double bicep is untouchable. Don't even Samson gonna look like him. So that's gonna be my winning one. The second one, I will see Hector. I like his physique.
Yeah.
He's very like conditioning, and it's being very. He's improving his physique a lot. I see a picture of other guys that I used to see in some magazines, like. It looks like Urs is there. I like.
Yeah.
I like.
Let's talk about Sergio here.
Sergio, I love his physique too. I see some issues with his legs, but I don't know. Let's see how everything goes with him. I hope everything works because he's my brother. So I see him getting in the top 3 with Hector, Quint, and Sergio. That's my top 3. I don't see the other guys.
Yeah. For me, I got Quinton first. Going to have Sergio second. I'm going to have Mark Hector third. And I'm going to have Lewis Breed in fourth. I'm going to have Amir in fifth. That's my prediction there.
Yeah, sounds good.
So how do you think about Urs going up to the Open then?
Well, so thank you for bringing up Urs. He hasn't
Urs is doing that show?
Yes.
Yeah, he's coming out of class. He's coming out of classic physique.
Oh my God, that would
yeah, but see, show a picture of hers. He got
let's...
some size on him.
He has
got
a
some
lot of
muscle on him,
but his collarbones are not wide enough. No, I'm serious. You can only get so wide when your collarbones are not wide enough.
Yeah,
he hasn't really shown.
Man, but I like you to make the point because that's the only thing I have been seeing in his physique. Is kind of weird. This type of look is killing him all the time.
Yeah, because he has a lot of muscle, but if his bones were a little wider, it's like Jay Cutler and me. Jay's a great friend of mine, but we had wide collarbones. We are the widest guys on stage. But and then you can compare even Jay to Phil. Phil put on as much muscle. Phil Heath. His collarbones weren't as wide as Jay. Just wasn't. You stood them next to each other. Jay was so much wider, plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know? And
I still think he's going to be in the top 5, though, Hurst. I just have a feeling they're going to put him there.
He's going to bring a great conditioning. Unbelievable. This guy is crazy.
He doesn't post a lot of photos, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about to see him. Wow, this is going to be good.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure to have him jump up.
He poses well too, though.
Yeah.
Good poser, yeah. And Wesley Vissers is moving in the Open too. Salada and Dino, Ramon Dino.
Because I know Dino said the next 2 years he's jumping in the Open.
Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. That's happening.
This is a very, very good lineup, this Italy show.
Yes.
Yeah, guys, one thing I wanna touch with you now that we are all here. You know that when we are seeing athletes in the front relaxed pose.
Yes.
Yeah. They wide shoulders, wide stance. And I started bodybuilding where everybody were standing with their legs together. Even Ronnie Coleman, the biggest legs in the planet, on stage, he was always posing with his legs heels together. If we go to see the book of Joe Wader mandatory poses, they will ask that question. That pose is made with heels together. That is the only thing I see. There's killing the athletes today in those poses, even the classic physique guys. Because I remember the pose was kind of like heels together, and you just stand like this, and just the stand makes your shoulders go wide. So this is everything. Not these shit. So I guess that some of the coaches in some point tell the guys to separate their legs to make the illusion to match the upper body, and in some point they lose momentum, and every motherfuckers now. I don't like to see Derek or any other Olympia champion standing like this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the posing clinics, that's how they're training the athletes now. They're not training them in the old way with heels together. They're training them with the legs a little bit separate, bend the knees slightly, because it believes it gives them more of a sweep from the front and also from the back. But you're right. Yeah, it's because it's not being pushed in the posing clinics that way.
Well, so that's the Italy Pro. We gave our predictions. Let's go into some of the recent things we've been seeing here. Samson Dauda, we can get the Swami on here. On how he's looking. This is Samson, 6 weeks out from the Olympia, guest posing. Incredible.
This guy's the latest version of Lee Haney.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what I couldn't believe, Matt, is that vacuum, when he sucks that waist in, it's like from the side, it's like gone.
Yeah. He just, and that's, and then when he hits this new kind of pose, wait till he gets into it. I haven't really seen him hit this one before.
He's a great poser.
Great poser. Great condition for 6 weeks out. Really making a statement here in this guest pose.
Yeah, the best one.
Yeah. Look at this. So I was really impressed. I'm usually pretty hard on Samson and the conditioning and bringing out the detail, but he looks like he's going to suffer. He's going to bring it in and really put on a show in 6 weeks. But let's get into that pose. I want to see that one pose.
The only thing is his back needs to be brought up because he's so big.
There's when he called me on me.
So this one where he just like, it's so hard to hit that pose.
That's crazy, man.
And hit the vacuum at the same time.
That's new. That's new.
Yeah. He practiced that one. That's pretty cool.
I love it. When I saw the pose, I said, this is what I said. Now he's working hard.
Yes.
Yeah. He's putting in the time, man. And he's always been a good poser, but the waist has come in, the midsection in between the poses, it's not protruding out. Again, this is 6 weeks out, so he's still not fully sunken down. Like he's still got room to go. So that's a good sign that his waist is this tight. 6 weeks out. He
needs to spend more time loving himself, posing, like moving around, finding his flow, finding his balance, and just let go, because he have the best physique of all bodybuilders right now, the best one. But I don't know, I will say this right here. I never knew how confident guys with beautiful physique and perfect genetic used to be. I hear Flex Willis saying one time that he wasn't pushing as hard as all the other guys. That's why he never made it as he's supposed to, even though he has to carry with all of these problems with his health and genetic stuff. But Samson, one time he said, no, I'm working harder than everybody. And then he presented himself when he was competing and prepping with Milos. And I comment in one of his pictures that you done, bro. And he blocked me out. But I will say this just because we all know that stress management is the key to come out with perfect condition to the stage. And I remember he come to the Olympia. He flew from his country to United States like 5-6 days before. And then Milos put him into depletion shit. We all know that he was already done. And putting him into muscle stress is not going to allow him to carb out properly and all the things. So then he rest and he worked. He won in Liverpool. And I realized, yes, he rests. Cortisol levels comes down, skin start getting tight, and eventually he looks perfect. So then he started to work with his wife, and I was kind of like, I hope they started making it better. They isolate a little bit and start working and start enjoy prepping to compete, because that's the key. Enjoy prepping. And now I see, man, finally, and I love to see him in the 100%. It's like we all wanted to see Cedric McMillan peel it on stage. Once again, naming him. And this is something similar. If he came 100% peel like Ronnie used to be on stage, untouchable.
Yeah.
And transitioning from this to we'll take a look here at Nick Walker. Now, Swami, Lonnie, what do you, when you just saw Samson, now you see Nick, what's your kind of thoughts?
Well, you're looking at one guy who's just about ready to be stage ready, even though he say it's 6 weeks out.
Yeah.
And Walker's got a ways to go right now. I mean,
well, this is 6 weeks too. This is up to date here with Walker.
This cat's huge.
He's big,
I got a problem, and I'm being critical. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'm falling into the same category as the other guys. But those varicose veins bother me.
No, they bother
everyone.
They bother everybody.
To be honest, guys, that's very dangerous. It's
but this guy, if he comes in right on, I don't think he can beat this Samson, but he could finish as high as second. I know you guys don't think so.
Well, he could. Shupon is pretty tough, man. Hadi Shupon.
Well, he's great. Is he going to be able to compete?
Yeah,
he's going to be able to compete. Yeah, that guy's like a rock. He's like a chiseled rock. And Derek's good too. I mean, you got 4 or 5 guys. I think Samson kind of stands out.
Yeah.
Overall, because of the size, the height, the sweep. It's a big, pretty physique. He's kind of got both.
Yeah.
Shapoon is thick as hell. but it's not the prettiest physique in the land, you know.
No.
Well, once they put them all up next to each other, it's going to be a battle. That's for sure. A great battle.
Yes, indeed.
You
man.
guys are down on Walker, huh? You don't think Walker could make the top three?
I think he can. I think he can. It's just depends on how the other guys look.
I think anything is possible.
Based on that question, Lanny, what do you think? Because this is kind of old, but I was in the Olympia in 2009 when Branch Warren did second behind Jay Cutler, but we all know that Branch was looking like damn, and he making a statement because he come to pose first, and he stay on the stage until the last one came to pose, and all of them went to drink water and rest. Branch showed a undeniable condition and work ethic and powerful statement of work hard, like really work hard, prepping for that show, and he almost won. But I don't know if you make the NC on that show, because I would like to know what do you think, because this is kind of like the comparison between.
Wait, it was.
I was the MC of that show.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, Branch Warren's a total freak.
It's like comparing Nick Walker today with Samson in this case.
And keep in mind, Branch Warren beat Jay Cutler for the Teenage National title back in 1993.
Wow. I enjoy all of those things. All of those videos.
I don't know. Cutler was this. Jay is kind of a weird type of physique. I'd see him standing off to the side, and I didn't think he looked that good. And then when I'd see him on stage, and his shoulders went from one end of the stage to the next, he just looked so wide and so, you know, when he hit that lat spread and he did the leg stomp and everything. They are all great. I mean, could Branch Warren have won that? Absolutely could have won that. Could Chris Cormier have won the Arnold a couple times? Absolutely he could have. There's not much difference between all these great bodybuilders. You know, it's not like there's a wide discrepancy. I think they're all. We're looking at those guys in Italy. They all look great to me.
Yeah,
I just want to get top 3 Olympia guys, but they're awful damn good.
Then we got Derek. Now, Derek to me is kind of, I don't know if he fools people with he kind of looks soft. Now, this was the same thing when he was leading into the Arnold this year. And like, oh man, Derek, he looks soft. And then just comes in shredded and just shocks everyone.
Could he win it again?
Yeah, he won the Arnold this year.
Could he win the Olympia again?
Yeah, I think he could. I mean,
we got 4 or 5 legitimate guys who could win this contest.
Yeah,
it's way different in the old days.
There's already 3 Olympians up there as it is.
Yeah, yeah. Brandon Curry is going to be in there.
In the old days, where you had the guy who won the Olympia 8 times in a row is going to win again. You know, the same person won every year in and year out. This should be great for the fans.
Oh yeah,
a battle between these 4 or 5. And what about that Fitzwater guy?
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh yeah,
he's in it. Antonio Burton, Andrew Jack.
Andrew Jack is really.
Yeah, we got a lot of names.
What did Martin get last year? He got like what? I think
4th.
He got 4th.
Yeah,
where he could have flipped. He could have flipped to 3rd, honestly.
Yes.
But he got
Well, Andrew Jack is awful good too.
Yeah. You got now Brandon Curry again. You're gonna have 4 Mr. Olympia champions competing up against each other.
Oh, Brandon's in it again, huh?
Yes. Yeah, Brandon's looking good too. So it's gonna be a great battle. You got Andrew Jack. Hopefully he can pull it together and bring in his shape. You know, because it's.
So once again, I'm saying against is Derek, is Samson. We have William Bonac, we have Quint if they go. So many guys that they can really stand in the first place in that top 6 places. That Nick Walker, if he don't get very well conditioning,
Walker's got to come in 100%.
Yeah, everybody have to be coming 100%.
Well, that's just the thing. If everyone comes in 100%, does Walker with his structure against these prettier physiques like Samson
probably not win. He probably won't win.
That's the issue, right? So
yeah,
but I don't think he'll be 8th.
No, I don't think he'll be.
It will be crazy if he get 8th place.
I think he'll
Yes.
be he'll be in the top 5, possibly fighting for the 3rd spot, depending on who looks like. Honestly,
Yeah, I think that all these guys are great, and it's really hard to choose between one or the other.
Look at the marking, man.
Yeah. This is 2 weeks ago, but he's going to be in shape.
Who was that?
That's
Yeah,
Martin
a
Fitz.
little softer at his last
Fitzwater.
show.
Well, look how good he looks.
But he's looking better now.
Yeah, he looks great too. So this is going to be quite one of the best Mr. Olympias. I just hope they can get the stage lighting right this time. They didn't do quite the good job last year with the lighting.
Now, who handles the lighting at this event?
I don't know.
Isn't it the president?
Oh, Dan Solomon. You mean Dan Solomon?
Yeah, Dan Solomon's in charge of all
Yeah,
that.
he's
Him and Tim Gardner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, Tim Gardner does the outside stuff. Dan does the inside stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of Dan Solomon, we haven't mentioned him. Do you think
Yeah.
he has an opinion on the stuff we were talking about earlier?
I'm sure he does. I'm sure they know everything that's been said. They watch the show, they watch Bob's show, they see what's going on, and they just
Not saying a word.
not saying anything, just keeping quiet for some reason. I don't know why Dan doesn't want to chime in and kind of set the record straight with how these guys should be behaving themselves, and it sometimes being silent is complicit is an answer itself by not saying anything.
Yeah, by not saying anything, you're saying it's okay to keep doing it.
Yeah.
That's what that says.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one good thing that's going to come out of all this is I think Bob's going to really do a great job.
You better.
This year,
Better.
be extra careful about
Better.
what he says.
Yeah.
well, one thing is very good, and is that they have to be done to make it better. So now he knows our opinions. He knows that people is not agree with the way he's behaving in this case, because it's not because he opens his own show, he have the license to speak about everybody, because then he will have a lot to say. True, but it's not to be a good ambassador of the Mr. Olympia at all.
Yeah, but this guy is not taking any accountability whatsoever. And the thing is, be just decent. It doesn't mean that you're weak. Hey, everybody's wrong at times. We're not all perfect, but just take accountability. People will respect you more for taking accountability for something that the masses have said something about and brought to attention, and everybody's talking about. Listen, that means that everybody's crazy? No, that means that you were wrong.
Yeah.
You are wrong. So, hey guys, you know what? I thought about it. I'm sorry. To this day going forward, I'll be a little bit more respectful, and especially to the masters. Phil, what you said, I have to say something. I'm 51. I'm older than you, and for you to continue and be up on that stage as we get older, it's not.
When did you turn 51?
Just in June, brother.
I turned 51 in June. I'm a Gemini.
Oh, damn, that's where we get along, bro.
Wow. What?
Yeah. June 15.
There you go, man. Happy
Okay.
birthday, brother.
Thank you,
Wow,
brother.
congratulations.
But back to going to you and the Masters, man. You cannot say nobody cares. Listen, you guys put the weight on your back even more so than the younger guys, because as we get older, we cannot. Some can. I have some Masters clients. They're still beasts, but they started later. See, you started later. I started competing when I was 19. So I broke down my body, man. I'm beat up. I wrestled, I boxed, I did all this shit. So I was done at 42.
Ace women.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that, Lonnie. You know that very well. But Phil, I mean, I give you guys even more respect. You're juggling kids, you're juggling jobs. I mean, listen,
Grandkids. We have 16 grandkids.
right? Like, congratulations.
You know what I mean?
Wow,
So
you better have a job.
that's me working full time, busting my butt, prepping for 18 weeks long, and dealing with my wife. She's the best because she preps all the food to keep
You're
me
lucky, dude.
focused on training.
See, I had a lot of, and Lonnie knows this all too well. He would call me up from photo shoots and say, Abbas, I got this competitor. He has women problems, and I'd have to talk to them and say, hey, listen, man, when you're getting ready for the show, every day, every second, every meal, every cardio session, every training session counts. You don't need drama in your life. And if you got a girl, I've done it so many times when I was back in my day, like 12 weeks out. Hey, you want to cause drama? Out. 1 week out. You want to cause drama? Out. I don't have time for this. I'm putting my body under tremendous amount of stress. As you guys know, Matt, everybody knows here what we do, what we go through. Yeah. And we only have that one day. We had those 3 months, 90 days to get ready. And you want to fuck around with one of my days? And then people say, oh, bodybuilders are, what do they call them? What do we call us? Narcissists. We're
arrogant.
No, we're self-centered. I'm sorry. Hey, listen, let me ask you guys this. Do you call Olympic athletes self-centered that go to the Olympics? Do you ever hear anybody saying the Olympic athletes are self-centered? No.
What you're
but
saying,
they do the same thing that we do, but for some reason, bodybuilders are self-centered. They have to train even more so 4 years for like 2 weeks for their day to compete in their one sport. Do you see somebody saying that somebody who wants to be a millionaire, are they self-centered? No, because they're a provider, because they're making money. But for some reason, we get this bad rap. People don't understand. I mean, after all these years, I can't believe that. Maybe because we don't talk about this. I don't know what it is.
Speaking of money, Abbas, what do you think of the prize money going up and up and up? Arnold's goes up and the Olympia goes up.
Finally, because you see, the thing is, like with all the NFL, MMA, all these other sports, these guys have contracts. They're being paid to play. Listen, as Lee Priest said, and I'll go back to what Lee said, and I wasn't there, but I've seen this video multiple times where he was at the press conference when Wayne DeMilio was saying, listen, without us athletes, what would happen? All you guys get up and walk out. What are you going to do? You're not going to have a show, just like you said, Phil. Walk out.
I want to add to what you're saying, because it's a big statement, and I hope everyone who's listened to this podcast check this out. When you said that we become to be so selfish, I become into spirituality big time, deep down. And one thing I found to manifest is bodybuilding is the best example, because every human being is a bodybuilder. The only difference here between us and an obese person is that they are using the wrong information. They are using wrong food. We are using the right one. When we put mindset into action, we become to do what he said. We become to see the result of the idea. That same apply to the Kundalini awakening spirituality. The same thing apply to build your own business. The same thing applying to end a career in university. You have to be selfish to become your own best. And this is what bodybuilding means. When we become to be from natural to bodybuilding professional using enhanced supplements, we just want to surpass the ability of the human body to manage all of these things, because there is no difference between use testosterone and enhanced supplements to become our best. People have that wrong statement like, oh, I'm natural, I'm climbing stupid stuff. No, we decide the same way a police officer decide to risk his life to defend others. They are also wrong in their head, and we have to make them to understand as a police officer, but we can't be killed. So we decide as a bodybuilder to be my best. I will change the route because I just want to surpass the natural ability of the human body to build muscle,
right?
To become a superhuman
as well.
And that's it. That's a statement.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And then the thing is, people say, oh, just because, we're enhanced, that just the muscle just comes. No. But you still got to work. You can see people who are enhanced and their muscle's not mature. It's just, puffy. Or you see somebody who's enhanced and they're fucking
it's just
grainy,
inflammation.
Fucking grainy. You know what I'm saying? That's being enhanced and working your ass off. Okay, that's a different story. And that's why I have a problem with a lot of these athletes these days that just jump on, and I'm not going to say what, but the hardest stuff out there. And yeah, they blow up. But without that, they can't do a damn thing. They can't off cycle. Back in the day when I was coming up, we off cycled. We did not do TRT dose. We were off for 3 months.
Yeah, and that's where the professional tag builds in, and that's when we
Right.
become to be. Yeah, athletes are getting the ISBB Pro card, but they don't have the attitude, they don't have the responsibility in their head to represent as a professional,
Yeah.
because this kind of ad like Bob just did is unprofessional, because you are an ambassador of the bodybuilding industry. Wherever you go, you stand as a part of the bodybuilding. You don't have money to invest in it, but you decide, you choose to be part of. So
That's
you
your
become to be
reputation.
an IFBB athlete. So you have to, no matter where you are, even if you are doing diet, people ask you something stupid, you were in that side of the street at some point.
I mean, you could use this as an example. Jay, look how professional he is in any context.
Yeah.
He's very professional in what he says, but I mean, you can't compare the two. Jay, anytime you see Jay, he's in a great attitude, no matter what he's tired. And I know this guy for 25 years.
Yeah.
It
It surprised me. It surprised me how he was so famous and loved, being second place back in the days.
Oh yeah.
Because of that.
Yeah.
It's
Because
just,
that's the thing. That's how a lot of people nowadays. I mean, I think it's a lot easier to get your pro card, but going back, I mean, Phil, as you know, and I don't know if you know, but I mean, back in the day, 2000s, all the way up until about 2010, that's when they started adding more, pro cards. It was only 8 guys a year that turned pro. If you add it up, 1 at USA's overall, 1 at North Americans overall, and then each weight class at nationals. So there was prestige,
Yeah.
You knew, like, walking in, like, who were the top players.
Yeah.
And now, like, everybody's like, oh, I have a pro card, but like you said, I think you don't even look like a pro. I mean, what is this? I understand the business side of it, but the other side of it, you're taking the prestige away. The business side of it, you're bringing in more money, which is great to keep the sport alive. But then when you walk in and people present that as like they really did something great, I can't really respect it, because I have more first place finishes at a national level than people even tried to turn pro. Because I don't have this like empathy for people that they go in 1 or 2 times and, oh, I didn't turn pro, I'm quitting. Because some legal issues that I had with the promoter, it took me 8 years when I should have turned pro in 2002. It took me till 2010 to turn pro because of politics. And it wasn't something I did. I made amends. I took care of the situation. It wasn't on me. So people talking about politics and quitting that easy, I'm like, wow, do you love the sport, or are you just doing it to do it as a fad?
Exactly.
I think a lot of it is a fad these days. And then somebody put on the comments, which was really good, being on now, I think it's just being taken for granted because you're being on because it's so easily accessible. But back then it wasn't as accessible. So when you got stuff, you bust your ass even harder while you were on, and then people would say, like, Abbas, how are you training this hard and being off? I said, because first of all, I love it. I love the sport. I love training hard. But when you train hard being off, you keep more of those gains, than people who like, oh, just train hard when they're juicing, when they're on their cycle. And afterwards, oh, I don't have the mentality. I'm tired. I'm not on my stuff. So I'm not. I don't know.
That's a big truth you're saying there. I had clients like that.
Yeah.
Even the person who I start training with, when the first time we did a cycle and we progressed big time and all the things went good. Back then, when we came off and then we start over, but when we were off, I was so like hyped to keep going, and he was again, I'm not doing it. It's not make sense, and I was like,
because you loved it, bro.
Yeah, we sick about it. So it's something that most people don't understand. You have to be used part of it to comprehend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, I want to wrap it up here because I know Lonnie's he's dealing with I don't know if it's pneumonia, if it's COVID, we don't know yet. He's gonna find out tomorrow, and he took time out of his day to come on the show with us and kind of sit through this with us. So we really appreciate you, Lonnie.
Yes, Lonnie, real appreciate
Thank you, guys. The
brother.
honor, my man. Thank you.
You
Yeah,
guys
thank
are
you.
all
This was
awesome.
this was a good show.
Yeah. All right, Lonnie.
All right,
So
guys.
Okay.
you guys, we're gonna wrap it up, man. Again, appreciate you, Lonnie, and get better, get some rest, and we'll get you back. Okay. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace, guys. Okay.
Peace
Take
out.
care. Thanks,
Take
everybody. See ya.